Hello everyone and welcome to another travel journaling video. I recently went to Miami for 5 days for a dance festival, and as you may know from my previous video journaling New York, I used this notebook from our journaler to document my smaller trips. I started by adding Miami to my front page using a wristband from the event, then added the trip to my index. A lot of items I use are from my stash, but if any of them are currently available, the links will be in the description below. I found a cool flamingo I've had for forever, so I added it next to Miami to add some color. I also added a label for my stamps so that I could write the dates of the trip. This is mainly the information I want to keep on the index page. Now we can get started on the Miami section. If you haven't seen the New York journal, I will link it down below for you. For the front page, I wanted Miami big in the center and the name of the festival as a subtitle. Even though this trip was about dance and not the beach, it was during summer. I went to the beach once, so I decorated mainly with summer embellishments. I added the dates at the top of the page and finished it up with some pink word stickers. For the pages about the trip, I kept the same format using a combination of Heba Alsibai Bean alpha stamp to stamp out date and feature crest stamp for the numbers. This helps me know what happened each day. Although I did use my Canon PM400 printer for bigger photos, most of the photos on this journal are printed using the Canon Ivy. My travel journaling process starts by selecting the photos I want on that page and where I want them, then decorating the pages and finishing off with journaling. After all the pages are decorated, if I realize I don't need that much space for journaling, I will add more embellishments or pictures. I also don't journal specifically by hour, but there are some times that I like to remember, like having to wake up at 3:45 a.m., so I will highlight that on the page. Most of the days of this trip were packed. Sometimes they would go from 8 a.m. all the way to 3 and 4 a.m. So I did 2 and sometimes 3 layouts for them. I think it's my favorite part about having a whole notebook for short trips, that I don't have to worry about how many pages I use per day. The page on the right of this layout I didn't need for journaling, so when we do the flip through in the end of the video, you will see I ended up adding more embellishments and leaving it with no writing. I used a lot of different brands and stickers for this journal, and that is because before I even start the journaling process, I usually go through my stash and take out everything I think might work or I want to use. I then have all those items next to me on the desk, and I can easily find embellishments as I complete the pages. Day 2 was a chill day, so I did only one layout. Day 3 was the first day of the festival. I had another wristband from the event, so I cut it up and used it to embellish. This one was a little messed up because it was the wristband I wore the entire time, but I don't mind because it will remember those moments when I see it in the journal. I also printed out the schedule for the classes and used it to create flip outs. I went to Miami with about 30 to 40 people from my dance school, and we had a lot of group pictures, which is why I started using my other printer. I then pulled out my washi tape catalog because I wanted to decorate the front part of the schedule flip out without adding bulk to the journal, and I thought using washi would be the best way. I found the washi I wanted to use and then layered it to cover the entire front of that schedule flip out. I actually really like how it turned out and how it sort of bleeds into the other side of the layout. I added a photo from one of the classes to the front and then some word stickers from Everyday Explorers. I then needed to find a way to hold the flip out in place, so I found a half circle and used washi to cover a tiny part of the glue area. That way when I place it on the page, I can slip the front part of the flip out underneath and it'll hold it in place. I finished up with strike a pose sticker and moved on to the second layout of day 3. This was about our first team dinner at a Thai food restaurant. I got to try pad Thai for the first time, so I included a picture of my dinner. I have a lot of Happy Planner sticker books, but I don't just use them for my planner. I sometimes use them in my journals or Project Life albums. I also included the late night social on this page, which goes from midnight till 6 a.m. I don't stay the whole time because by this point I'm exhausted, but that's how long they last. I used the group picture from the social to create another flip up, and this time it will have a QR code that leads to a dance video of me with one of the instructors. Because this strip was about dance, I ended up including a lot of QR codes throughout the journal. Anyone looking at the journal can use their phone to scan it and see the videos of the dances or moments during the trip. Day 4 of the trip was day 2 of the festival. I added another flip out of the schedule, and this time I covered the front using pattern paper. I also got to use some dance stickers I've had for a long time. It always feels good when I get to use something that has been in my stash for way too long. This was an important day, so I had 3 layouts total. I am part of a dance team for the school, and this Saturday was our very last performance after an entire year of training. The first layout was focused on the day and the classes I took along with the tiny moments. For the second layout, I focused on the backstage moments before the performance. I wanted to highlight the importance of these moments, so I used bigger pictures throughout. There was 2 teams for the dance school, and I was part of the urban team. I added a big picture of us to the right with the team name using alpha stickers. One tip I have is to place the stickers on a ruler, that way you can center the word and gauge how much space you have left before you commit the letters to the page. I added stickers for the QR codes, but will change my mind after and move 2 of the QR codes to the next page. I printed out a big picture of both teams together, but it was taken on another person's phone, so the quality was not great. I wanted to include it but sort of hidden, so I cut it in half and made a flip out with it. I added a few embellishments and pulled out my labels and found a tag. I cut a bit of the tag to create the same effect I did with the half circle and have something to hold the flip out in place. I covered the front of it with pattern paper, added the stickers that will have the QR codes, and finished embellishing the page. Day 5 I completed for a short reel that will be linked below if you want to see it. I make a lot of projects for short videos, so be sure to follow me on Instagram or TikTok so you don't miss out on them. I then moved on to the night of day 5, which included the final team dinner and social of that night. I wanted to do something different, so all the embellishments and photo of the left side are centered rather than on the borders of the page. Day 6 was a travel day, so I used the boarding pass on the middle and surrounded it by photos of the day. I knew I didn't have much to journal about, so I didn't mind that the boarding pass covered so much. Now let's get into the flip through of it after all the journaling is completed, and you can see the final look with QR codes and embellishments I added after. I really hope you guys enjoy seeing my travel journaling process, and thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe so you can follow along my journey and see future projects. Okay, bye!